What's going on, YouTubers? For ladies and gentlemen, it's the Natural Born Thriller. As I give you back to back to back TNA Wrestling review, what pertains to 3 TNA Impact results. So when I say back to back to back, basically you're gonna be getting 3 results I'm going to give to you in one video. So we're kicking things off with TNA Impact from March 15th, 2024, the fallout of Sacrifice. And basically, after Sacrifice, they're not going to be building up their next TNA pay-per-view called TNA Rebellion. So that being said, let's get right into it. The opening match, first of all, was the X Division champion Mustafa Ali versus Chris Sabin for the TNA X Division Championship. So, the match happens, and it's a pretty good match with no interferences, no shenanigans whatsoever, which I can appreciate. Now, you did have a little bit of shenanigans pertains to, Mustafa Ali getting the belt and trying to hit Chris Sabin with it. But then Chris Sabin, I think he may have, took out Mustafa Ali, before he got a chance to do it. And Chris Sabin ends up getting the belt, but that ends up being his downfall because, he's going to use it as a weapon, not knowing that he should know that he would have been disqualified if, that would have happened, and he would have won the title. So basically Mustafa Ali would have retained the title. So, he let that emotion get the best of him. Mustafa Ali got him roll up and then used the rope for leverage and got the win. And you see Chris Sabin being destruct. And there you go. So your winner, still your TNA X Division champion, Mustafa Ali. So yeah, either way, it was a good match. I enjoyed the match of what they did here. They had Nick Nemeth and Speedball Mountain, which is Speedball Mike Bailey, and Mustache Mountain himself, Trent Seven. They basically cut a promo, being interviewed by GM Miller. Excuse me, sorry, I had a little brain fart there. It was an alright promo, especially for Nick Nemeth. Tends to he was all amped up and all that. He was like he was amplified in a way. So I don't know what he was on, but yeah, he looked like he was having a good time cutting his promo, more so than he's ever cut a promo of having a good time during his time in WWE. So, but either way, we'll get to that later on because their interview pertains to having a match later on against Rascals, the Rascals, and Steve Macklin. So that was the main event, and we'll get to that later on. We hear from Josh Alexander pertains to his match against Hammerstone, and basically calls him out for because Hammerstone did what he did sacrifice, and he wants payback. But instead of getting Hammerstone, you have Johnny E. Bravo as Alpha Bravo now coming out, and Dirty Dongo's trying to attack Josh Alexander before what tends to this whole distraction that they were trying to do, and then Oleg Prodias, the former Vladimir Kozlov, he had a match against Josh Alexander, and it didn't last long. If anything, it was like maybe like under a minute before Josh Alexander gets him in the ankle lock and he taps out. So Josh Alexander wins. I'm not even gonna talk much about that. I said much of it when I did the episode of Being the Silent from don't remember which episode it was, but yeah, it was not good. That happened to Oleg, who's supposed to be a monster in TNA, and he's supposed to be built up strong and all that, But at the same time, he's with Dirty Dongo, with this gimmick that I'm not a fan of, and then make matters even worse, Alpha Bravo, Johnny Bravo, whichever you want to say, whatever. it was never gonna work out. And sure enough, that's what ended up happening. The TNA Digital Media Champion, Crazy Steve, reflects on his victory against Tommy Dreamer and Rhino, and recently against Joe Hendry, and he's looking now to find another opponent. And out comes PCO. So PCO comes out, and that was basically it for that. And they're teaching the match routines too, and we'll get to that, when we get to it. And what we're going to do, we're tends to doing back to back to back. You see the lighting so far? It's a clear lighting. So the next time when I do the TNA Wrestling TNA Impact results, it'll be a different lighting. Just to make sure you won't be lost. So it's Austin with Chris Bay versus Frankie Kazarian. Match itself was decent, with Frankie Kazarian getting the win. After the match, Frankie Kazarian attacks both of them of ABC, and then Eric Young comes out for the save, and that was basically it. So they're going to be doing some with Eric Young and Frankie Kazarian, which we'll get to when I get to the next review of it. So now I'm assuming it was the next one, but we'll find out together. The TNA World Champion Moose and the new TNA World Tag Team Champions Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards, also with Alicia Edwards. The System. They basically arrived to the building. At least that's what it looked like. They arrived to the building, and they're showing that they got all the gold, except for Alicia Edwards. So, but either way, they're there with the gold, and they're proven right now in TNA. That they're the best faction so far because they have all the gold. So Jim Miller, she tries to get a word in with with Time Machine. But then I guess it was something about Alex Shelley. Wanted to prove something pertains to tell them pertains to the Time Splitters. Basically pertains to himself and Kushida. And Chris Sabin was also struck too and all and everything. But yeah, so more deceptions in the way it works against Alex Shelley. So much. And based on how they're doing this too and all, because most of the Machine Guns are gonna be leaving TNA Wrestling to go wherever elsewhere they're gonna be going. I don't know where they'll go after TNA. Which means Kushida's gonna be there all by himself now with Kevin Knight. So we'll see how that turns out too as well. What was the tag team name by the way? It's something about Jet Packer or something like that. A Jet. Jet Intergalactic or whatever it was supposed to be. But anyways, AJ Francis versus Joe Hendry. I was not a fan of this match, to be honest with you. Rich Swann came out and he helped out AJ Francis. I guess he saw the light. If he did saw the light, would change to Joe Hendry, because of what he's supposed to be. Good. I'm glad he saw the light. So, not gonna mean anything. I think Rich Swann is probably gonna be done with on Team Wrestling 2 once his contract is up. So basically, he's doing a whole lot of nothing. So this is the best thing they got from him is to be with AJ Francis. And we'll get to more of that, which is Rich Swann, for the next two reviews of it. Alan Angels, he did a sound check with a neck brace because when I said before when he got his neck cracked by his former colleague back at the time when they were buying by design and the design Kong, and Kong snapped his neck, retains to on the whole program with PCO. I say he's going to be wearing a neck brace on his next show of Soundcheck. Sure enough, that's exactly what he did. He's wearing the Andy Kaufman neck brace. So he's has his show pertains to interviewing Ash by Elegance and her personal continuity where it's supposed to be. But she reveals on the show is that she's going to be having her third match. And I'm like, oh joy, oh boy. We'll get to that. And that was it. Not much to say about that. And by the way, they were discussing about the setting and everything that that the show was being formatted and being produced. So I didn't mind that though. Yeah, it's supposed to be designed that way, but at the same time, and and that's how the character's supposed to feel like, tends to Ashbat Legends and her personal assistant, whatever. The Knockouts World Tag Team Championships. I'm sorry. The Knockouts World Tag Team Champions Spitfire, Danny Luna and Jody Dredd versus B Moss and Vanna Black. It was basically a showcase for Spitfire because they're the new TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Champions. They also had MK Ultra, which is Masha Simovic and Killer Kelly, coming out. They had the K coming out because they want a rematch for the TNA World Knockouts Tag Team Championships. But in the end, it was Spitfire winning. Of course, they did, because these are it has been talents that we're facing, so of course they're going to lose. And so Dan Lunar and Joey Drake. I love the tag team. I love I'm not sure about the tag team name, but it's whatever. It's not, I don't hate it, but I just don't get it. But either way, I thought it was fine for what it was. And then you'll find out what things what they're going to be doing, what things to deciding what's going to happen, who's going to be facing Spitfire for the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championships. Tasha Steeles, she interrupts the show because when it comes to her match against Jordan Grace and Sarah Brookside, she never lost the match, so she wants a match against Jordan Grace, and Jordan Grace give, I think she accepted the challenge for her, I think like later on, but either way, Tasha Steeles did get a shot, and we'll get to that momentarily. Um, which I'm assuming was part of the next review, which we'll see. Steve Macklin and the Rascals, Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz. They were against Nick Nemeth and Speedball Mountain, Mike Bailey, and Trent Seven. And match result was pretty good. You had some dissensions um, uh, with Steve Macklin and the Rascals. Most likely from Steve Macklin to the Rascals. And to a point where the Rascals had enough of Steve Macklin, and then they left him high and dry. And obviously, Nick Nemeth and Speedball Mountain wins. After the match, as they're celebrating, the system comes in and attacks them, and they stand tall. And that's how the show ends. And there you go, folks. That was the show from March 15th, 2024 for this. So I'm gonna gather up the number of matches. Tends to the TNA of wrestling. By looks of it, I think it's 6 matches. Let me just double check. Especially that squash match that Josh Alexander had. Okay, look like it's 5 matches, but let me just triple check. Always best to do triple check. Nope, actually 6 matches. 6 matches. Because the other match I didn't care for that much. AJ Francis and Joe Hendry. So, but that's the TNA wrestling. And my oral strength from the show pertains to this this TNA Impact show from March 15th, 2024. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. That's gonna be the best one I'll give it so far. And now, folks, let's continue on with the next TNA wrestling review for this TNA Impact results. The show from March 21st, 2024. So, you had this match that the X Division champion Mustafa Ali came up with, that he thought of. I think it was called, okay, here it is, the Rebellion Referendum. Basically, it's going to showcase all of the X Divisions, where it tends to who's going to be next in line against Mustafa Ali for the TNA X Division Championship at Rebellion, Rebellion, which on the show will be on April 20th on a Saturday. Which is a TNA Rebellion. This will be the first Rebellion show that's going to be under the banner of TNA Wrestling. Same thing with hard to kill. I'm not going to include Sacrifice and No Surrender because they've been having shows before they became Impact Wrestling. During the old heydays of TNA Wrestling, with this card was around. But anyways, but you have your participants in Leon Slater, Chris Bay, Alan Angels, Jason Hosh, Kevin Knight, the returning Kevin Knight, after what happened with last time we saw him by the hands of Mustafa Ali and the Good Hands, and Jake Something. And when Jake Something came out, Mustafa Ali is like, wait a minute, what's he doing out here? And it's like, this is supposed to be the exhibition. There gotta be some limits here. Little that he didn't know, the exhibition is about no limits. That's why you had guys from the past like Samoa Joe, Abyss, and Brian Cage, former exhibition champions. So the match happens. Pretty good match, I should say. Very good match on the showcase here, with Jake Something winning, beating Jason Hosh. And Mustafa Ali couldn't believe it. He said this is a mistake and all that, blah blah blah. So he's gonna be in jeopardy, which obviously I don't think he is gonna be in jeopardy because he's gonna retain. He's not gonna lose the belt to Jake Something, even though Jake Something should be winning something because Jake Something is great at what he does. Sorry, had to cough. But so yeah, we'll see how they build this up too. By the way, Dirty Dongo, I guess he blames Alpha Bravo and Lego for a lack of success. Who cares? Moving on. He's not successful. Not on this gimmick or this segment promo that he does. It's fucking boring. But Gia, she tried to interview Rich Swann and AJ Francis about this alliance they got together. And AJ Francis says, you're going to have to find out, like everybody else, on the next edition of TNA Impact, which we'll get to that after this one. So yeah, there you go. Diener, he comes out. He puts the blame on himself for his failure of Fine by Design and the design. And he says, regards to decisions that he made over the last several years, and admits that he lost his passion for pro wrestling. Says that this day forward, his decisions are going to be in the hands of the fans. So this is a face turn for Diener. Also, the Grizzle Young Vets comes out, which is Zach Gibson and James Drake. They came out and basically, they're, that happened with Diener being out there, where it's supposed to be their time because they're going to be facing Time Splitters, which we'll get to. But basically, they come out and they told Diener to leave, and Diener's like, you know what, I'm not going to leave, because it's not going to be my decision or your decisions. It's going to be the fans' decision for me to leave. So he says, so fans, do you want me to leave? And they all said no. Or do you want me to stay? And then they all say, yeah, stay, and all that, right? Because he promised, it's going to be the fans' decisions from now on. But then Diener gets his ass kicked, and then also the Southwest comes out for the save, and then that was supposed to give, and then we get to this match, which is the Grizzly Young Vets versus the Town Splitters. Pretty good match with the Town Splitters winning. Now there was a little bit of the sessions, attentions with Alex Shelley and Crusader, from the beginning, but as the tactic kept going on, there was no miscommunications. There was no arguments back and forth. They worked together as a team and they won. And Alex Shelley and Kushida were for now, they look like they were good. So far so good. Tom Hennepin, he had a sit down interview. He basically with Hammerstone. Hammerstone talks about that he's coming off of a huge victory against Josh Alexander for sacrifice, rotates to that he lost the first match, or the first encounter at Hard to Kill, and excuses the loss, saying that he had Alexander beat, but he rolled out of the ring like a coward. Basically talking about since the first match. And then John Hennepin was basically criticizing Hammerstone for how he won them on his rematch against him at Sacrifice with a low blow. And Hammerstone presents Alexander the headgear that he wore, that he stole, and says that it's a reminder for what he will for what will happen to Josh Alexander the next time they get in a match. And that was it. So I thought the interview conducted with Todd Hennepin, interviewing Hammerstone was well done, and this feud's not over yet between these two, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna lead to rebellion. So there you go. Digital media champion Crazy Steve versus PCO for the digital media championship. So the match happens. It's a pretty alright for what it was. All of a sudden, Kong comes out with a collective of weapons, and he brings them into the ring. And I'm watching, so like, what the hell's going on? And the PCO was trying to make light of what's going on here too. And I'm like, what's the point of this? So all of a sudden, PCO goes after Kong, and takes. I guess he hits him with what I remember. I don't remember if he hit him with weapons or what or whatever. But and then referee got distracted by Crazy Steve Weber, and then Kong uses gets PCO and steps on the multiple chairs, and then Crazy Steve rolls him up for the cover and gets the win to retain the title, and that was it. I was like, what the hell was that? We'll get to more of that on the next review. But we had Decay and MK Ultra arguing over who should be getting a rematch for against Spitfire for the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championships, and they're going to sell it in the ring. Now they didn't say when they're going to do it, because on the next episode, what's the name of this one? There was a different match that they did, which I'll get to that when I get to it. Eric Young comes out, and he speaks on his loss against the TNA World Champion Moose at Sacrifice, and admits that he came up short, but kept his promise by continuing to come forward. And which brings up Frankie Kazarian, who screwed him over, and he warns him to watch what he is wishing for, and lays out a challenge to Frankie Kazarian at Rebellion to face him. Full Metal Mayhem. Basically, their version of TLC. 2,000 chairs. So yeah, that's gonna be the match for Rebellion. And I knew that was gonna lead to, by the way, not the match itself. I didn't think it was gonna be that type of match. I just knew it was gonna be a match between those two guys, because I knew it was gonna be over after Frankie Kazarian lost to Eric Young, the way he lost. So Ash by Elegance versus some chick from Canada. I'm gonna try to pronounce her name here. Silesia Sparks. It's not with a K, by the way. It's with an X. And based on how I saw this match, Ash by Elegance is going, from now on, going by Trash by Elegance. Shout out to the True J Bird, because he came up with that name. From the recent episode of Being the Asylum, episode 125. So, shout out to Jake, KP, Jalen, the True J Bird, for that name. I could came up with it myself either way. I mean, it was right there in front of me too. Ash by Elegance. All you need to do is just add in TR in front of the word Ash, and then you have Trash by Elegance, because that's all I'm seeing pertains to this Dana Brooke character here she sucks. Her acting sucks. Her wrestling sucks. There's nothing great about this new persona that she's portraying as, with this whole aspect elegance. And then when it takes to her opponent here, I could tell that her opponent was holding back just to make her look good. To basically make trash look good. And then in the end, and she goes for the swanton, and it's one of the most horrible swantons I've ever seen. The first one was like, it was alright. Second one is like, it's doing, ain't pulling up very well. And then we get to this one, and it was one of the worst ones I've ever seen. And it's called the rapid air, whatever they're calling it by. More like the trash air. But after the match, she won. After the match, she attacks this Celia, I think that's how you say her name. Also, Sarah Brookside comes out for the A. I knew this was going to happen. I knew it was going to lead to that. So that's going to be the match. That's going to be building up, maybe for Rebellion, or maybe on the Go Home show of Rebellion, or maybe on the Fallout of Rebellion, or the pre-show of Rebellion. We shall see. So yeah, Sarah Brookside's going to have a sore back to carry in trash by elegance to make her look good. When she wins. And I'll talk about trash by elegance when she wins against Sarah Brookside, because I'm saying this, and like, even though I knew this was going to be the program they're going to do, but at the same time, it's not going to help Sarah Brookside's case, because Sarah Brookside is better than this. And the last thing that they should be doing with her is having her wrestling someone who's fucking trash in the ring. Nick Nemeth, he cuts a promo about the upcoming TNA World Championship matches he could be having against Moose at Rebellion. Says that he made his intentions, his intentions clear when he arrived, and his goal is to become the next TNA World Champion. But he wanted to earn the opportunity. So he reflects on his issues with Steve Macklin, who was unable to drive him out of TNA Wrestling. Says that he was going to wait for the perfect opportunity to challenge for the TNA World Championship. Also, Moose interrupts, and it's just not Moose, but it's also the rest of the system coming out, and they get in the ring, and to be in the ring, to confront Nick Nemeth, and Moose says basically he came out there to say to face someone of the greatest of all time, but he says he will never was able to beat the system, and that was it. Like, wow, what a promo that was for Moose. And I get it too, because Nick Nemeth, when he was Dolph Ziggler, obviously he faced a lot of of issues against the system, pertains to the machines, that was never behind him, even though they sure got behind him, because how great he was, instead of holding him back and everything, and pushing guys like John Cena and Randy Orton, instead of putting them, have them step aside and give someone like a Dolph Ziggler a chance during that time. Kind of like like they could have given a Zack Ryder a chance, Alex what was his name? Alex Rowley. Yeah, Alex Rowley. The former protege of the Miz. Just give those people a chance. Like a CM Punk did, and a Daniel Bryan did, even though they were still never featured as the top guys, because they still have guys like John Cena and Randy Orton being those guys on that level, and never have anyone to be above them. But I digress. But yeah, there you go. That's this should be interesting though. How they're gonna build this up. Then we get to the main event. The TNA Knockouts World Championship. Jordan Grace versus Sasha Steelz. And this was the one match that that Sasha Steelz wanted to have. because she never lost a match at Sacrifice. So this is her opportunity. And the match itself was pretty good, with Jordan Grace getting the win, as I expected she would. But yeah, Sasha Steelz really showed what she was made of in this match against Jordan Grace, but wasn't enough to face to defeat the Juggernaut. So there you go. And there you go, folks. That was it for that show. From March 21st, 2024. Now I'm gonna bring up the about wrestling on here, as just make sure everything's all good, and not trying to make sure I miss anything. All right. The Toma Wrestling, 5 matches, and my overall rating for the show, I'll go with another 7 with this one. It could have been a lot better, but either way, it was alright for what it was. And finally, folks, the final review for this TNA Impact results from March 28th, 2024. And this show, you're gonna find out exactly how I'm gonna do my overall show rating for this show. So tune in for that one. So here we go, folks. The show opened up first, where first of all, I thought there was gonna on the show here, which tends to happen on last episode of TNA Impact, the whole thing with the Decay and MK Ultra. Those gonna have a tag team match to see who's gonna be next in line for the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championships. Instead, they did this match, which is the returning match from last year. Now, if I recall, I think they did this match last year at Rebellion. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that, but I could swear it was like on Rebellion. I'm not gonna look it up to double check, but either way. But the match I want to talk about here is 8-4-1. Now, for those who may not remember or know the rules of this 8-4-1 match, so the 8-4 match, the 8-4-1 match basically is a team. It's a 2 teams of 4, which is why 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and they will clash against each other in an 8-man tag team. Except in this one, it's a 8 women's or an 8 knockouts tag team, and you have the participants. First of all, is Jody Threat, Havoc, Masha Semovich, and Alicia Edwards. Name that stable, by the way, or faction, or whatever I say. Name that faction. First is Danny Luna, Rosemary, Sarah Brookside, and it was supposed to be Trash by Elegance, but I'll get to why it wasn't her, and I'll get to who ends up being her replacement. So yeah, that's basically what that is. And the winner of either of those 4 teams will face each other in a 4-way match, which means the match still continues until we get a one deciding winner. And whoever wins the match will be the number contender against Jordan Grace at Rebellion for the TNA Knockouts World Championship. So, that being said, let's get to who replaced Ash by Elegance. Because you had her personal congealer, whatever her is supposed to be pronounced. He reveals that Trash by Elegance is unable to compete because something that she was wearing some kind of white bandana over her head, is all tight, into a knot. Something about her a jaw, whatever, or I don't know, I don't care. And it was horrible acting, but she came out there because she wanted a close eye view. I'm like, why? But if that's the case, then why you're out there? So that was one of the things I didn't like about that. Like, why do we still need her presence on the show? Makes no sense. But it comes real sense too, though, which I knew that was gonna happen too, which we'll get to. So who ends up being her replacement? So Santino Marella find a replacement for her, and it's the returning Steph D. Lander. So yeah, Steph D. Lander. She's basically the manager or valet, I should say, for Matt Cardona, and she used to be in in WWE, on NXT when she was teaming up with who was she teaming up with? Nah, I don't remember. Oh yeah, did she team up with Indy Hartwell before? I don't remember. I seriously don't remember now. But anyways, but yeah. So let me go through the teams again here. Joey Dredd, Havoc, Masa Sonovich, and Alicia Edwards versus Danny Luna, Rosemary, Sarah Brookside, and Steph D. Lander. And the match happens while you have Trash Bag Elegance out there. And the match I thought it was alright for what it was. Which tends to the this 8-4-1 match, which tends to a 8 knockout tag team match here. And in the end, it was Masha Slamovich getting pinned by Danny Luna by getting an upset roll up. So that means because of that, now it's Danny Luna, Rosemary, Sarah Brookside, and Steph D. Lander face each other in a four-way match to see who gets the fall, which means it will be one fall for one winner to be the knockouts, number contender to face the knockouts champion, Jordan Grace at Rebellion. So so before we get to the match on the way, Masha Slamovich was upset. She was furious, so she attacked Danny Luna and tossed her out of the ring into the ring post, and there you go. So the match still began, even though Danny Luna was taken out, but she ends up being in the match either way. But the match happens, and it's been pretty decent for what it was. And also we get to a spot where Rosemary was going for a spear to Sarah Brookside, which caused Sarah Brookside to collide onto Trash Bag Elegance, and she was upset with that and everything. And then she grabs Sarah Brookside and brings her to the ring post, and then the referee ejected both of them out there, which is to her assistant and herself. Because they got involved. Now, even though the match it was no disqualification because it's a four-way match, they still kicked them out. I'm like, all right, okay, it's whatever. And while referee is to basically just eject them out of there. Keep in mind it's supposed to be no DQ. Anything goes, right? So Rosemary's getting ready to go for her winner here. To Steph D. Lander. All of a sudden, someone comes in the ring and gives her what looks like to be a Rough Rider, which is the running leg drop clothesline. So basically, when I saw that, I'm like, oh shit, it's Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona gives Rosemary the radio silence. Because remember, I talked about Matt Cardona earlier, that that Steph D. Lander is the valet for Matt Cardona in the indie scene. So because of that, I think to myself, okay, so that means Steph D. Lander was going to win this match. I knew Sarah Brookside was going to win because with Trash Bag Elegance being out there, and I knew that we're not going to have Rosemary win. But that didn't mean they had to bury her like that, because and the reason I said it too is because Rosemary is should be in line for for a tag title shot against the Nagasaki champions, which is why I didn't see Danny Luna winning this either. But the way they did it too, with Masha Slamovich attacking Danny Luna. So we're going to see what's happening with Decay and MK Ultra to see who's going to become double contenders when they face each other. Which I'm pretty sure it's going to be next week's or this coming week, I should say, for TNA Impact on Thursday. I don't know, but we'll see. So the logical opponent was Steph D. Lander, and the way it did is by having Cardona being involved. So yeah, I was fine with her too winning. And I haven't seen much of her work. I mean, I've seen clips of it, and I don't know how she is in the ring that much, to be honest with you, because I barely saw her on NXT, and I barely saw any of her matches at all in the Indies. But I want to see what she can do. What I've seen so far, it was alright. For someone of her size, she she's got a look. So, and I'm glad she won because I want to see what she's made of. So, and she got a chance to prove that, for weeks to come, once we get to Rebellion. We have Time Machine. Alex Shelley basically accuses Chris Sabin of looking out for himself in singles matches, because I guess there was something happened backstage. Because see, Macklin and the Rascals ended their relationships, whatever. Partnerships, whatever. And then Chris Sabin busts him to Steve Macklin by accident, whatever. So also let that happen, and then ended up having the match later on, and which we'll get to. So that's basically what happened with that whole thing. Also, we get Chris Bay, who failed to become the number contender for the X Factor Championship. Ace also tells him that they should be focusing on reclaiming the TNA World Tag Team Champions. And the Bay vows to take care of Great Frankie Kazarian, which Ace also was unable to do so on his own before. So we'll get to that later on when we get to it. We had the Grizzly Young Vets. They blame Dieter for their loss to Tongue Splitters last week. And Dieter makes his way to the ring and reveals that the director of authority, Ceci Morales, has granted a match for himself against one of the Grizzly Young Vets. And Dieter says he's going to let the fans decide. And then basically, the fans says, both of them. And then Dieter says, okay, both of you guys. And he attacks both of them. So basically, it was basically a handicap match here. The Grizzly Young Vets, Zach Gibson and James Drake versus Dieter. I think he's going by Cody. I think he's going back to being Cody Dieter now. I'm assuming that's what he's going by now. Because that was always his name. Cody Dieter. So I'm assuming that's what they're going by his name now. Cody Dieter. Cody Dieter. Easy for me to say. So by the looks of it, because it was a handicap match, Cody Dieter lost. So Grizzly Young Vets wins. So there you go. Gia Miller, she interviews Nick Nemeth, and then Alex interrupts the interview and tells him that it's not to fall for the system's mind games as he gears up for the challenge against Moose for the TNA World Title at Rebellion. Nick Nemeth says that after he defeats Moose at Rebellion, he will be honored to face Shelley for the first match. And then Alex says, well, I got a better idea. How about you and I have a match? I guess by next week. I guess. I'm assuming it's gonna be a match for next, for the next Impact show, which is gonna be this Thursday coming up. And they shook hands and everything, and I can't wait to see this match. Me personally, I can't wait to see this match. Because these two, I feel like these two I have missed out. I had a match with each other, before, in the past. So it'll be great to see these two guys have at it for the first time. Josh Alexander, he walks into the ring, and he says that he missed being in Philadelphia because they were in the 2300 arena, and he says this is where he has the most personal scores to settle, which is why he reveals that he wants to face Hammerstone. So he basically called out Hammerstone for a match, but Hammerstone would not answer. Instead, we got Hot Sauce Tracy Williams answers. And I'll be honest, I did not know who that was. I may have heard his name, but I'd never seen him before. But apparently, he was a former Ring of Honor World Television Champion during I'm assuming during the days of Sinclair era. But he comes out and he challenges Alexander to a match, since Hammerstone is not answering. He's gonna do it. And then Josh Alexander's like, I didn't lay some of my boots up from nothing, so ring the bell. So the match happens. Pretty good match. I enjoyed the match before it was. And for seeing my first time seeing Tracy Williams. Now here's the thing. I don't know. I don't remember if I've seen him wrestle before a Ring of Honor. I don't know if I have. I don't know if I haven't. I don't know. I don't know. But what I see of him, pretty good. Pretty good what he does. Now obviously he lost the match. Um, so after the match they shook hands and showed respect. Also Hammerstone blindsides both of them, and then Hammerstone puts Tracy Williams into the torture rack. He's cosplaying a wrestling finishing move of the total package Lex Luger. But so there you go. But that was basically it for that one. TNA X Division Champion Mustafa Ali is on the cover of the latest edition of Pro Wrestling Illustrated. And the digital issue is available now, and it will also be available on newsstands on April 16th. So Mustafa Ali tells Director of Authority, Santi Morella, that he doesn't believe that Jake Something is qualified to be an exhibition, in the exhibition because of his size. And Santi Morella says, "Oh, well, that's the beauty of the exhibition is there's no weight limits." And then says something that even Rhino could be in the exhibition. And then Ali says that basically Ali at this point, Mustafa Ali was badmouthing Rhino, and then also Rhino comes out of nowhere from behind, and staying there behind him, and then Mustafa Ali says, "He's behind me, isn't he?" Which I thought was comical. And then Rhino challenges to a match. He wants an old school rules match against Mustafa Ali, and not for a title, by the way. And Sentinel makes the match, and it's official. So the next TNA Impact show, that's gonna be the match. And Mustafa Ali was not happy about that, by the way. He looked concerned, by the way. So there you go. TNA one half of the TNA World Tag Team Champions, Eddie Edwards with Brian Myers and Alicia Edwards, versus Speedball Mac Bailey with Trent Seven. And the match happens. It's pretty good. You may have some you had some inferences or distractions, I should say, a little bit, like some for the end. But also in the end, it was Eddie Edwards getting a win after Mike Bailey attempted to do an Ultimate Weapon finisher onto Eddie Edwards, but he got out of the way in the nick of time, and he was able to hit the Boston Knee Party. It got the win. So your winner is one half of the TNA World Tag Team Champions, Eddie Edwards, excuse me. PCO, he is calling out Kong, and he was also saying Monsters Ball. And it's going to be at Rebellion. Now I understand why, they're continuing this program. After Kong coming out there from last time, costing PCO the opportunity to become a champion for the TNA Digital Media Championship. So yeah, the third match they're gonna have here, this time Monsters Ball. I guess I must have missed this, but apparently we got the FBI, which I'm pretty sure is the full blood Italian, but they're going to be returning to TNA Impact. So, which is going to be this coming up this Thursday. So, yeah, I guess I must have missed it. So maybe see if I could play it on here to see what this is about. It's right now buffering. I'm assuming it's not going to play. Oh well, let me continue on then. Frankie Kazarian, he says he's looking forward to face Eric Young at Rebellion and Full Metal Mayhem. Also, Chris Bay shows up and confronts him, and he challenges the king of TNA, which is Frankie Kazarian, to a match. So there you go. Yeah, I got. I knew it was gonna play, so I was gonna play it so I could see the video to see if it was gonna show a little Greedo, Tony Mamaluke, and whoever else from Football Italian. I'm assuming. So, but Rich Swann and AJ Francis they finally come out to address of why Rich Swann decided that he saw the light and he joined alongside with AJ Francis. So this is what he had to say. Swan betrayed Joe Hendry to join forces with AJ Francis because, well, first of all, let me first say what AJ Francis says here before I get to Rich Swann. He refers to this new duel as first class. Yes, their tactic name, I guess. But Rich Swann, he admits that he has been in a slump as of late. You don't say. Says that Agent Francis was there for him when he wanted to take him to new heights. Explains that Hendry stole a victory from him in a tag team match and stole his spotlight. Okay. Swan reminds us that when he won the TNA World title, it was in the empty arena, which is true. Yo, that was during the pandemic though. And he said, and basically, which means that he never needed the support of the fans. Okay. AJ Francis signs off by, with his catchphrase saying, "If you're not in the first class, you're last." And there you go. I mean, it was alright for what it was. Tom Hennepin, he conducts another sit-down interview. This time with Laredo Kid. Laredo Kid, we learn a lot more about him, and he speaks fluent English, which is good. For someone from the world of lucha libre in Mexico, he speaks fluent English, which is good. Basically we learn more about his upbringing in pro wrestling, and which is to luchador background. After being in 2003, the kid went to compete in lucha libre Triple A in Mexico. He speaks on the traumatizing experience of suffering something that he had they had to get surgery from, which it took about action for a long time. I think it was the same thing that maybe Joaquin Wild had, the former DJZ or Zima Ion, whichever you want to say, but the Joaquin Wild from WE, part of the LWO. I think it was the same injury that he had too, and Real Kid may have suffered the same thing. But basically, said that which inspired him to motivate others to never give up, and he sets a challenge to Christian Steve for the TNA Digital Media Championship at Rebellion. Oh, I'm sorry. I sacrificed something to say, but was unavailable. I mean, was unable, I should say, to compete due to travel issues. Okay. And he says, and basically, Larry Kidd says that he was an opportunity, and he sends a message to Christian Steve that he's coming for that title, which I'm assuming is probably going to be for Rebellion. So we'll see how if they start building it up from there. And finally, the main event: Steve Macklin versus Chris Sabin. And that just was pretty good. Pretty good match these guys had, with Steve Macklin winning. And there you go. And that will do it, folks, for the back to back TNA reviews for 3 TNA Impact results, especially this one from March 28th, 2024. And now I'm going to gather up the amount of wrestling here. And still buffering my way, the other video that I was trying to watch. Crazy. Alright. Okay. Alright. That was a short one too, by the way. Alright. 5 matches, excuse me. because the 8-4-1 match they had is basically just one. It was all put into one match either way. So they try to to make it look like it's you know a 8-person tag team match, and then that's it, and then that match, and then you go on to the next match. It's the same match because it's lumped together. So which is why it's called the 8-4-1 match. But let me double check the amount of wrestling here. That before I give my overall summary of the show. Okay, I think that's 5, right? Yeah, it is 5. Just want to make sure. So so tomorrow was 5 matches, and my overall rating for the show from March 28th, 2024 for this TNA Impact results. I'm gonna go with a 9 out of 10. I could give it a 10. It wasn't a perfect show, but it did came across for some things on the show here. And the best part was no dirty dongle, no Joe injury too as well. But back Cardona return, Steph D Lander return because she's been there as well. Yeah, so some good stories here that they did here, and some stories with Laredo Kid, which is great. And they do some promoting of what's gonna happen on the next show. It was the basic stack. They were stacking all the deck for that, and it really build up for what's going to be built up for TNA Rebellion, which is great. And now back to the normal lighting here, folks. Now I can finally close it up with the back to back of this TNA Wrestling reviews for 3 TNA Impact results that I just gave you. And right being said, thank you for watching. For It's Not Your Born Thriller. As I say, peace on the streets. To all you, be well, stay safe, take care of yourself and everything that's going on in the world. And that's pretty much it. For I am out here. Ta-ta for now, as I bid you all in Abdu. Goodbye and good night. So, until next time, take care of yourselves and each other, and God bless. And fuck Bruce Pritchard, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Fuck you, Bruce Pritchard. Fuck you, Bruce Pritchard. Fuck you, Bruce Pritchard.